welcome once again to Civil Engineering Today. I'm Cristina Fragoso, and normally Reed Brockman is here. He is also typically a host on the show, but today he's kind of playing two hats, wearing two hats.
Yeah.
And he's going to be a guest. And we also have with us Maria Cadena.
Cadena,
Yeah. And we're going to be talking about the Boston Society of Civil Engineers, our outreach program. They're both very actively involved in it. And we're going to go, we haven't done a show in a while, so we're going to go over what it is, everything that they do, kind of give us some highlights, and if you have announcements, which you usually do. We'll do some announcements towards the end, we'll get them out there, and the address. So, Maria, if you can tell us, why is it that we work so hard to try and get kids, elementary through high school, involved in outreach events?
So just to give you some background, so Reed and I both run the outreach group, and it's very exciting to be here today and tell you more about it. It's so important because not all kids are getting this information.
That's true.
So a bit of a personal story. I, as a child, grew up in Ecuador, and we didn't really have that type of exposure. And I just happened to stumble upon civil engineering through my sister. She was passionate about becoming an architect, but I didn't have anyone in my family or anyone to really guide me through it.
Oh, that's very interesting.
So we really do focus on trying to get an experience to kids that may otherwise not have that opportunity. And even if they don't go on to become engineers, it's just really where we focus on STEM, on science, engineering, technology, and mathematics. So it's the whole range of the whole STEM piece of it. But it's really just getting them to see what it is, because they might become interested. In other ways, they might not.
I think
know
it goes two ways. Like the kids, there's when we say STEM, those are the subjects in school: the science, technology, engineering, and math that we're talking about. But they all tie to careers, and with those careers, kids don't see. In general, never mind just the STEM careers, anywhere, what people actually do out in the world. And a teacher can be a totally wonderful teacher, and they're going to be inspirational. Mainly is inspiring kids to be a teacher is the thing. We're trying to be the equivalent to put that feeling in a kid that, like, hey, there's cool jobs out there that use these subjects. So the kids will want to learn the subjects more, and they'll become interested, especially with civil engineering, in the built world and in taking care of the natural world around them at the same time.
No, I think that's great. And I remember the book that you bought. I gave it to my niece and nephew, and I'm like, anything that you do in the world, there's an engineering profession that can guide that. No matter what you want to do, it's there. If you want to design paint colors, there's an engineer who comes up with paints for different items, the colors, everything. So, I mean, baseball. In my school, there was a lab for baseball, like the reciprocity of a baseball and how you hit it and the bat and everything. I mean, anything you want to do. So I thought it was great. It was great in your book that it covered that. And I think it's great that you're doing this. And have you thought about maybe doing a sister program in Ecuador also?
Eventually, I'd like that.
We haven't thought about that, have we?
We should think about that.
We should expand our...
We could.
Could make
Yeah.
it big
We could
global.
at least get Future City down there pretty easily.
That could be fun. Yeah, that's a good idea.
That would be fun.
Yeah.
So this is all BSCES organized, but does ASE also have a level?
So ASE, it's funny, I just had, yesterday and today, I had the ASE meetings today. So they're having their big meeting where they fly out to Oregon. I'm not going. But yeah, but they, at the national level, they've actually got set up, we don't have them locally, but this is one of the things we're thinking about. There's these civil engineering clubs, which is funny because I worked on some of the activities. They're in the civil engineering clubs, but we don't run them locally. They'd get free membership to ASCE. They would get all the newsletters and everything, but they get their own newsletter also for high school age kids.
Wow.
That they get, and they do all these activities, and nationally ASCE would actually give them money. So we got time.
Yeah.
We'll get into that more.
Yeah.
So other than that, I said that what other kind of events have we put on? What do we get into other than these clubs that ASCE is helping with, or what else do we do? What can we do immediately?
Oh, we got a lot of immediate stuff.
Yeah.
How do we start? So we got the to begin. We got the contest, right? So you want to start with,
Yeah.
you can do Future City first.
Yeah, so we have a variety, kind of a mix of things that we do. We have different contests that we organize. We partner with different organizations to run these contests, and that's one way to get involved. And then the other part is STEM, the type of one-off events that might be just like a weekend. So with the contest, we have Future City, 2 bridge contests. So the Future City contest, the kids actually get to design a city using SimCity. And this year's topic is powering our future.
Really? Okay, this
Yeah,
is
so
yours?
kids
I'm so
have to-
glad. I've been waiting to hear what the theme
Yeah,
is
so
this year.
I know the year after, but I can't say. I can't say, top secret.
But powering your future.
Yeah, so what the kids got to do when they're designing, so they're coming up grade 6, 7, 8, their ultimate dream city of the future, they have to build a scale model, and then they've got to work in 2 design elements into their city that have the purpose of, in the event of a natural disaster, help get the city back up and their power grid back up and running as fast as
Oh
possible.
my God, that's actually
Kind of an
awesome.
appropriate theme.
I'm kind of interested to see what they come up with.
Me too.
It's really cool, and the other cool part about it is that the kids get to see how the engineering process goes. So they get to actually do the design themselves and do presentations and do all their submittals, and they have deadlines. So they get to sort of be mini engineers for a day, a few months.
I've seen some of them, and some of those kids, they're amazing. I mean, not only the ideas, but it is a lot of work to get there, and I'm always so impressed at the stuff they come up with. I mean, it's just impressive, and that they're able to meet all those deadlines. Although, I do remember last year there was one girl from one city that I think she pretty much did the bulk load of the work. And she was alone.
She was alone. That was crazy. So the other 2 members of her team couldn't make it that day, but she did
was so
not
much
know
work.
all 3 presenters couldn't make it that day. So she realized they couldn't make it, so she redid everything to be what she could talk about.
But it was
crazy.
amazing, and you really see that. You see that they actually they gain so much knowledge just from the exercise of getting through the
Yeah.
Future City. I mean, I love to see it, especially in our field. It's so hard to get the public to understand everything that goes into planning and executing an idea, and I think they starting them from that age is fantastic. I mean, it's not
You've been
always
at
so
most
easy.
of them since like 2006, 2007
Yeah,
too.
2007. I have been to most of them. Thanks, Reed. Thanks for reminding me. So the bridge competitions, I did run those, so I know. But can you talk about those and what the material is this year? Do we know
We
yet?
can because it's we
it's a secret.
we put it out. There's the
But
secret
it's
is
coming
done.
up soon, though. We
Yeah.
can, yeah.
No,
soon
we
you'll
mailed
find
it.
out.
We mailed it to the teachers. So
Yeah.
any teacher that already signed up knows
Yeah.
because they got the email with the specs.
Oh.
So we were really lucky that we made some phone calls over to Wynn Casinos, and Wynn Casinos donated us 1,000 decks of cards. So they're going to be playing cards. So
Yeah.
it's single-sided. It's clear tape, either single-sided or double-sided with playing cards. I think it's
going to be
they're
interesting.
going to be
It should be
awesome
really
looking.
cool.
I can't remember
Really
the weight. I think it was at 24 or 26 inches.
I think you're going to have to be back on the show with the winner for that.
That would be awesome.
Yeah, the card.
And,
That's
card
gonna be
and
the-
tons of pictures.
The
Yeah, that's
weekend
gonna
of
be
the
really cool.
Super Bowl, no?
Yep. So I think it's February 2nd this year.
I
It always-
never know. It's so I know Super Bowl. It's
Right.
somewhere around
That's
the
the
Super Bowl.
entire way we know it. It's always the day before the Super Bowl, and we're almost 99.9% sure, waiting for one more confirmation phone call that it's going to be back at Wentworth again.
And then what's the other bridge competition? That's the one that's won by West Point, or are we
Yeah,
still? Are they involved
was.
at all anymore?
So
with that?
actually, Colonel Ressler, Stephen Ressler, he actually retired. Even though I see that now, I think he's teaching at Lehigh.
Oh.
But he still oversees the program itself. But a lot of the online aspects aren't the same because West Point isn't hosting it anymore. So originally ASCE took over and was keeping it running, but it's still running. Colonel Ressler on his own is sort of keeping it there, and Alex has been in contact with him and keeps it. Alex Bonner has been keeping it running. So every year he's modifying. They're making modifications in the program somewhat, so that every year the contest is different. Kids will keep on
So what
coming
does it
back.
look like this year?
That hasn't started, so we have no idea.
Yeah. But it's also, I think we forgot to mention, it's an online bridge competition,
Right,
so
right.
they
That's true.
get participants.
Yeah, but that
can make it
program,
work.
you can download it anytime. If you just, I know that we've got the link through bsces.org. and
Okay,
we'll
yes,
try
I'm
to
going
do
to ask you for that again. If you could tell me the web address people can visit, and maybe you can go there for your kids or for yourself, because it is fun to play with this program. So what is that web address again? And we'll get it out there.
Yeah,
again
we'll
one
just
more
keep
time.
it at the basic. You will find it if you go to bsces.org.
Okay, then it's
It's-
pretty
yep.
easy. And then look for outreach, or
Outreach,
it's right
yeah.
there.
Right.
Yeah, so we have an outreach page, and it kind of has all of our contests and more information about them and how to get involved too.
Right. If you download it now, it won't be the one that will be in the competition, but the program's still live all year round. You can download it and play with it and design your model bridges. And you draw it like stick figures and connect the dots, and then you click the button and it turns real, and truck tries to drive over,
Right.
and if it's not strong enough, the bridge collapses.
Yes, I've
And
had
you get
fun
to
with
see,
it, actually.
yeah, you get to see the weak parts of the bridge or where you can improve it. So.
So the science fair, what have we done for that?
So not
With
just the
that.
science, we go to a whole
The
bunch of
Cambridge
them.
Science Festival I've been
Yeah.
to.
Yeah,
Yeah, so
That was
the
fun.
for the science fair, it's the same thing. We're bringing our activities. So we have. I don't think we've ever judged the big one, like the final, but we go. Every school has their. Before you go to the big science fair, every school has a science fair. So we've been popping over as judges to those ones, and at the big one before, we've brought our activities. The model bridges and other stuff, as like for things to do while they're not being judged.
and that's kind of one of those one-day sort of events, but we have a variety of them. So we team up with Boys and Girls Club, this
Big
upcoming...
Sisters, Little Sisters,
Big
Girl
Sisters, Little
Scouts,
Sisters,
Boy
Boy
Scouts.
Scouts. We
Girls
have
Inc.
Girls Inc. Yep.
Yeah,
I've actually
WTS
done that one,
as
yeah.
a Women in Transportation. We actually have an upcoming event, not this weekend, but next. That's Transportation U, and that's going to be at Park Plaza, and we're running a workshop there.
That one's very good.
That is
That
not a
is
sold-out
very good.
show yet for girls that
No.
want to do this. So this is
Really?
high school girls that want to go to this can still register.
Yeah.
It's not full as far as I know.
But it doesn't have to be just girls.
Well, this one does.
Oh,
The Women's Transportation Seminar is putting together the thing. There will be some boys coming up into the area because we're handing out the model bridge materials and answering questions on Future City at a table outside. But I don't think anybody would totally flip
there's
out
a
for
link
boy
to
one.
that event too. If they go to bsces.org, they'll see a link in the outreach
No,
to this
is
particular event.
This is WTS's.
Yeah, but for all of our kind of not competition events, so what we've done is we've created a meetup page, which if you don't know what that is, it's sort of kind of like events website
a
that
great
you
site.
can organize any sort of events. So we've posted there all of our upcoming events, and we allow volunteers to sign up. So we have kind of the volunteer pool, and everybody who volunteers can see all of the events.
Up to 42, I think.
Yeah, we just
Really?
Yeah,
we
it's
just
growing fast.
started
We just
it
started
too.
it.
Yeah,
So
it's
we
growing
searched
really
on-
quickly.
We searched on Meetup. We are like the
Not
only K-12 outreach meetup.
Really?
So we
okay,
called
so that's
it-
what people should
yeah,
look
so we
for. If
called
they
it-
go on Meetup, they do a search and put
Yeah.
K-12.
Yes.
Yeah,
Okay.
so we
Outreach.
called ourselves New England K-12
I think
STEM Outreach Volunteers.
I think that's what it is. Yeah, it's a
But if
long
they
name.
put
It's a
in-
long
just
name.
put in
If you
K-12
just type
STEM
K-12
K-12
volunteers.
STEM Volunteers or K-12
Yeah.
Outreach, like we are like one of the only things that comes up.
Wow, that's
So-
amazing. So anyone can
There's-
go.
Yeah, so it's a
Yeah.
little trickier than the one thing that makes a difference is this is, meetups are generally adults meeting up with adults.
Oh yeah, I actually
So-
belong to a book club.
Yeah.
Meetup.
Yeah.
But in this case, we're asking the teachers also to register as volunteers. So when the teacher wants a mentor to come to their school and they know that they're meeting every Tuesday after school or something, they can post it up there. The volunteer can get in touch with the teacher, and the teacher can further get to know the person before they invite them to come in. That's something that we take really
Yeah.
serious.
That's
is
actually really good.
Allie Raisman, the gymnast, she's actually been paying for anybody who takes this course. She's got this website called fliptheswitchcampaign.org. I think we got a slide about this
Allie
one.
Raisman, like, where's this?
No, this makes sense. This
Okay.
makes sense. So this is a course about putting kids at risk. That
That's interesting. It's called
keeping
Flip the
sexual
Switch?
keeping sexual predators away from kids. There's nothing of bigger concern to us. This is way bigger than any K-12 STEM outreach. Is that we're trying to create quality, safe experiences for kids.
You
So
know,
we're
I didn't
asking
even
all-
consider that in all
Yeah.
this time.
Well,
I've never
that's
really
sort of-
considered it, but now it makes total sense. Like, why didn't I think of that? It's
Well,
kind
that's kind of why we put the meetup together, because it allows us to sort of see everybody who wants to volunteer. And we have a few questions that you have to answer, but we reach out to each volunteer and sort of get an understanding of why do they want to participate. So we're trying to do our best to get to know all the volunteers beforehand, because kids' safety is the #1 priority
Yeah,
for
that's
this type of
great.
event.
Well, it took us a while.
I know,
Yeah.
I didn't even think of that.
Well, we were doing the Corey checks.
We
So the
kind-
Corey checks
Yeah,
are
Corey
Yes,
checks
we do
and-
the Corey checks, and then we kind of, there was one time years ago, remember over in, I think we had it in one auditorium, there was a weird person, we're like,
Yeah,
Is he a
actually, you took
parent?
the
Who is
job.
he?
You stopped doing everything else. That's what we haven't said is that you're also one of our, you've been doing the outreach
I
committee
have
forever.
worked, it's fun. It is
But-
fun, I like it.
Yeah,
But
it
you
is
actually, you stopped what you were doing and you came as a door guard.
But it's nice that we have something more formal in place, ready to
Yes.
go, especially given the environment that we're living in. We're finding out all these things that have been going on, and I don't know where I've been, under a rock. But it's important. It's important to have them in place, especially for the parents, for their ease of mind, I think.
Absolutely.
Right, and with Meetup, so we are trying, we have figured out that no matter what we want to post up on that Meetup, we can put it up there. And like we were just saying, where how to register for the WTS event, of course, it's a no-brainer, because you posted it up on the Meetup.
Yeah.
Okay.
So there's a link that's got the link. We could do this for absolutely everything. We can put everything up on the Meetup, because our events aren't necessarily ours. We don't take, we're the BSCES, and the BSCES does do the funding of the events that we put together.
Yeah, outreach group,
But
yes.
as volunteers, as outreach volunteers, we're just people. We're just
Yeah,
volunteers.
we don't get paid.
And we really also don't necessarily just focus on civil engineering. So our toys that we bring with us are bridges, and we are putting together a couple other geotech. I know you're geotech.
Yes, I know they
So we
do
are
the dams.
we're putting some other. We're doing an MSc mock-up too. So I'll
Oh,
tell you more about that.
Yeah.
But
That is
so
good.
we're trying to expand on some of the civil engineering toys that we bring with us. So we have the structural. We have a pretty tall Saken bridge that I think is like almost
12?
It's
12 feet
pretty
long.
big.
12 feet
Yeah.
long.
It's
And
pretty
the
It's-
arch,
I know it's
the
as tall as
arch
me,
bridge,
so-
the arch bridge is like, it's 11 giant foam blocks.
Yeah.
It is. It's kind of nice.
So we bring those to the events, but we really try to focus on anything that's STEM, so in general. So we show up to all kinds of events. So you talked about the Cambridge Science Fair,
Yeah.
and all of the other
That one was
partners.
awesome,
But
yeah.
all of that information would be on our meetup. So we are not necessarily organizing the events ourselves. We're participating at the events as the outreach group, and anybody who wants to volunteer along us then can participate through the meetup.
Okay,
It's
so if
really
they go to
easy.
the meetup, it's K-12 outreach, STEM
New Eng-
outreach.
So we threw a lot of words in there on purpose.
We'll just do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, New England,
Keep it
it's
simple
got a
for
slide.
the, for the
Yeah.
search. Always keep it
Yeah,
simple.
New England K-12 STEM outreach volunteer.
Yes.
So,
Yeah.
volunteers.
Yeah.
Okay, and then just a little bit more about the events, and I think we had a slide up. I don't know if they have the PowerPoint, but tell us. I actually have not heard of this Fix the Grid challenge. Tell me about that.
That was fun. You put it together, so you should.
I love this idea. Fix the Grid.
Fix the grid. So this one,
Cool.
this one, so actually it
I
was
think the politicians should come to
I
that
brought,
one.
I brought in from Boston Green Academy. I brought in a high school intern last year, and this was his project, Terrell Washington. So,
Oh.
little shout out to one of the local. Hope he's hearing it.
So what do they do?
He worked out the design that we got a 2-foot wide by the same dimensions as the future city model, a 2-foot by 5-foot piece of rug, which is actually a little bigger, because we tape off one area. There's a battery mounted at the end.
Okay.
And the carpet has, we got 7 buildings on there, and they're Velcroed down to the carpet.
Okay.
All the buildings are wired with LEDs, and they've all got 9-volt battery snaps coming out the top. But we take all the wires that hook to the building, and when we designed the wires, we made every one different lengths with all kinds of splits in them, so that there's only certain combinations that'll work to get all the power back up in the city. So it's
Actually, I
simulating
kind
the
of want to
idea.
try this myself. I'm sorry.
I should
It
brought
It's really
that.
cool.
does sound
it's
like
really
fun.
cool. We
Have
should-
you
yeah,
done
we
it
should have brought
also?
Well, I helped cut the little houses out of boxes.
Yeah.
That would actually be a
fun.
fun challenge. I mean, I can see a lot of people benefiting from trying to do that, and just so they understand all the variables. And that's primarily even what this show is. This show is originally intended to be also outreach to a full audience of just how important every little bit is when you get to the real world. It starts out, you need the exposure, which sadly, it's true. I mean, even when you guys were telling your stories earlier, I was thinking to myself, even when I was in college taking the classes, this is the physics. When you get out in the real world and you see
Very
all
different.
the jobs and
right.
everything
Yeah.
they can do, it's like, okay, it's like you really don't know until you start to learn all the pieces. So the earlier you can get it done. I think these activities are great, and I'm going to try that one.
That one's good.
That one actually would be fun.
Any school that wants me to bring it over, if you just contact us, we set up and we come over to schools all the time.
And Civil City, is that somewhat
That's
similar?
yours.
To, that's a small future city. I have
No, this
always
is
Kind
cool.
of,
We got a grant. This is
So this is really exciting. We put a proposal through the build space in Autodesk to actually design a 3D model of a small city that's going to have different civil engineering components. So have a tunnel, a structure, a bridge, a water sewer plant, and just every component of civil engineering. And then they're actually going to help us print it, and we'll end up
3D
with
print.
a 3D print.
Get out.
Yeah.
And we'll bring it as a toy to the events.
When are you going to have that one next? Where are you going to have that?
I
We
will
gotta
let
get
you know.
moving
Yeah,
on
we
it.
gotta. Yeah, we're working on the plan right now.
Oh, okay. I'm going to hold you
Yeah.
to that. So when is the WTS event, the Transportation U one, is
the
that
weekend
coming
after.
up?
Not
next.
this weekend,
Not
but
this
the
weekend,
next
the one
week.
after.
Yeah.
It's on a
So
Saturday.
people would have to, if they want to get
Register
involved
pretty
in
quick
that.
because at some point next week they're gonna have to have the.
So if there's any
names.
teachers out there, especially high school girls, the Transportation U, go
Yep.
on the meetup page, and you can find out more information. There'll be a link to sign up for the
Yep.
program. There's
Pass
still
it out,
room.
Pass it out to the kids in class or
This
through the
is the
principal.
same one they used to have in the summer with MassDOT?
This is the one. It's with MassDOT.
Or
Was it in
Volpe?
this? No, this isn't over at Volpe. This is. This was.
Turn
It's only
left,
second year. Second year of this, and it's gonna be
Okay.
this time of year. I think every year.
Oh, okay.
Um,
But it's a good program.
Yep. Yeah, it's really good.
It's a very good program. So who else do you want to see getting, who are you seeing coming for volunteers? Because this is actually very interesting to me. I didn't think teachers are one of them. Anybody else? Parents? Or?
So that's what we're getting in our 40 volunteers that have shown up.
Yeah.
I mean, we shouldn't say we've actually had tons of volunteers. I mean, Future
Yeah.
City, we come up with 100 volunteers, everything.
Yeah.
But
Well,
we're
that
really
was
trying to
fun.
get the college, it seems like the college student groups are,
Really?
because they're into meetup.
Yep.
And
We're actually going to be at Wentworth on the 23rd. They have a ASC student chapter meeting.
So
we'll
all the
be-
colleges are
Yeah,
coming.
all the colleges that have
Oh.
ASC chapters will be there, and then we'll be talking to the students a little bit more. But we're looking for students because we have events that are during the week, so we need a few more volunteers during the week. But really, anyone who's passionate about telling kids about STEM, it really anybody who's interested in.
We've got small things, big things, things that take an hour,
Yeah.
things that are once a week.
All right,
know?
and Reed, since we're running out of time, is there any other announcements? So the 26th?
Yep,
The 26th at Wentworth?
The 23rd at Wentworth for
23rd.
ASC
Yeah, that one people can't
chapters.
go. That's just the-
yeah, so that's
We
And
do it
then
with them.
the
students.
26th is when the Transportation
That's the
U
Transportation U.
Yeah.
And then then at that date, any teacher that is interested in being in the Model Bridge Contest and
Mm-hmm.
any students or teachers or anybody that has questions about Future City, we're going to have a table set up in the mezzanine at 10 Park Plaza for answering questions.
But they
and we
can
got some
email you on the
resiliency
meetup
experts.
too.
Yep, they can reach
Yep.
out to the meetup or
Please, everybody should sign
Yeah.
up for that meetup.
Yeah, there's a messaging system, so just send us an
Okay,
message.
so one
Glad to
last
help.
time, New England K through 12.
Yeah.
STEM outreach
outreach.
volunteers.
Okay, awesome.
Yep.
Okay, so guys, if you, especially teachers, students, go on the meetup and go ahead and get the
Yeah.
signed
Sign
up.
up.
And
Get
if any
signed
teachers,
up.
and if any teachers are going to be at the STEM Summit, we'll be at the STEM Summit coming up in November to
Mm-hmm.
answer teacher questions too.
Okay, and thank you very much. We will see you again next month.
All right.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks
Thank
for
you.
having me.